Okay, good afternoon, everybody. It is 2 o'clock, and I just want to welcome you to the July 2026 edition. June. What a way to start. I'm just intimidated by some of these members out here in the third row over here. Welcome to the June 2026 edition of the management meeting. It is good to see all of you that value this time of coming to hear a report from management. And we're going to do things a little bit differently than we normally do them. Often, I have some members from our management team that come up and do some presentations on material that they have to share that's important. Today we're going to reverse things. I'm going to share information with you today and discuss some things because I have to leave a little bit early for an eye appointment. So Jake is going to be the anchor today. He's going to follow me, and I hand that off with some trepidation to him, having no idea what he might say in my absence here. But if I can just ask anybody to report back to me if Jake gets out of hand while he is doing his bit. Yeah, you keep an eye on him. One thing I want to do is just revisit the issue of communication. I bring this up from time to time. But as we on the management team go about our business, our work here, it is always evident that communication is our biggest challenge. It is a challenge within our management team as we do our work from department to department, and it's also a challenge as we continue to do our best to provide information, important information to the members about things that are going on. And we do that in so many different ways, from the newsletter to lobby posters to flyers on the bulletin boards and in the elevators, York TV, email, paper flyers to mailboxes, one call, management meetings. It is also done by the board through the board report. There are just so many different ways that we strive to bring information to you, and we worked really hard in doing that, and we continue to always look for ways to improve on that. So we do ask all of you that receive information to be patient with us. We do make mistakes from time to time. Jake does, I don't. He can get me back when I'm not here. But, we work really hard, and we work hard to do it even better each and every day. And we do hear back from time to time that we do too much information. And we simply ask if you feel like you get too much information. We don't want you to disconnect from us because especially One Call and MailChimp, our email platform. Those are the ways that we send out really important information. If you're not connected, then you're not going to get some of the most important information that we have to share. One important event that we have coming up, we've been announcing this for a couple of weeks on York TV already. You're beginning to see some other information in flyers or posters around the building. But we will be asphalting the west parking lot all the way up to where it meets the foundation wall, where the entrance to the south garage is over here. And we are going to be asphalting the east lot all the way up to the point over here where it meets the foundation wall. We will not be asphalting the area right in front of the entrance yet, because that will be affected at some point down the line by a waterproofing project that we will presumably be doing sometime in the next years. We will be doing a coating, a seal coat of this area out here, but that's like a one-day project, and we'll have to make some adjustments for that. But you will be seeing information shared about the asphalting of the west and the east lots and the driveway just up to the foundation wall over here. And one of the most important reasons for this communication, even more important than the garage cleaning where we ask everybody to get your cars out of the garage, if members or visitors or vendors or whomever don't get their cars out of the parking lot, that really affects things in a negative way. We can't asphalt right over the car. We can't do the striping of the parking spots on top of somebody's car. We will need to tow cars if they are left there. We don't want to tow any cars. So we are working very hard to communicate as much as we can. Jake is going to share a little bit more about that. It will be a temporary thing for our ability to tow, but we have to be able to get cars out of either lot if they are left there when it comes the day to asphalt that particular lot. Any questions about the asphalting? Yes, sir.
Is that a one-day thing, or
It's a one-day thing for each lot. So the east lot will be on July 8, that's a Wednesday, and the west lot will be on Thursday, July 9. And if there's any, you got a microphone there, great. Any other questions about that? I think it's pretty clear. And you'll be getting a lot of information. You'll probably feel overwhelmed by all the information because we don't want to have any cars left in the lots. You will notice that there has been some work going on the North Plaza. Earlier this week, there was some remaining flashing or floor plates that needed to be put in at the entrances. I know that they did that at every entrance except the York room, and I didn't notice to see if they had gotten there yesterday to do that. So that is protecting that waterproofing membrane that covers the expansion joint between the plaza deck and the building wall. So that is basically the last thing other than a few touch-ups on the stairs going up to York Gardens, and I don't believe those painters have been back yet to do that, but we're within a hair's breadth of having the North Plaza waterproofing project completed. The lobby and balcony project being led by the Lab 23 committee continues to progress. The committee has made a decision about the contractor that they will recommend to the board once they get the full proposals on all of the costs for that project. And it will go to the board, and the board will make their decision on that. And then once that happens, we will receive a contract, and the contract will go to our legal counsel for review. So it's quite possible that sometime in the fall there could be work on the renovation of the lobby and balcony areas. The boiler replacement project is going on. That is some kind of an impressive project. I get down there probably at least once a day, and if you park in the south garage, especially back in the area to the northeast of that south garage that is near to the boiler room. Were any of you displaced from your parking spot to have room to store the boiler parts? Anyway, those boiler parts, most of them, many of them have been put into the boiler room already. One of the new boilers has already been fully constructed and will be having a water test, a leak test. It's either tomorrow or Friday. It is just amazing how they do this work and how quick they are. The guys that are doing this, I think it's all they do, and it just happens, bang, 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 and it is quite impressive. I'll tell you who's excited about this, and that's Michael Ordorf. To be seeing new boilers going in and to have the relative assurance of not needing to deal on a daily basis with parts, either the boilers themselves or parts attached to the boilers that aren't functioning properly. And as he was looking at this today, he came in my office and he said, these things are so much more efficient. And he was saying, I think this is really going to reduce our natural gas usage, which means lower costs for natural gas. So that project, I would say, is ahead of schedule. Heating season starts for this property sometime usually during the second half of September, when we may have to start doing some heating. Our management team, as well as the property committee, has been working with a new supplier of natural gas for the building. It will no longer be CenterPoint. And the reason for that is both of these boilers are natural gas boilers. Before, the old ones, one was natural gas, one ran on fuel oil. And with that, we had one supply of natural gas through one of our meters that CenterPoint could say to us, you need to switch from the natural gas boiler to the fuel oil boiler because there may not be enough natural gas, that would be able to be supplied to all of their customers. And so they would make us change to the other boiler. In this case, both of them are natural gas, and CenterPoint could not or would not commit to supplying us an uninterruptible supply of natural gas. CenterPoint is not the only supplier of natural gas here in Minnesota. There are other suppliers, and there was one here locally that we have been meeting with, and the board has approved a relationship with this vendor for natural gas, and we will be signing a contract with them soon. And we are very hopeful that the natural gas that we are hoping to use less of will also cost less, per unit of natural gas. So we are really hopeful for some reduced costs of natural gas with these new boilers. So it's really exciting to see this coming together. Like I said, I think it's ahead of schedule, and the team that is putting these together, they are going to work on weekends. They will be working on this coming weekend. It is not a noisy type of work that they're doing. It shouldn't disturb anybody in the floors above that area there. Any questions on boilers? All right, great. Again, as I have said before, the first time the garage floors, the south garage and the north garage, were cleaned, the south garage was not cleaned to our expectations, and we had a discussion about that with the vendor that does the garage floor cleaning, and he committed to coming back in August. I don't have a date for that yet, but we will soon, to clean again the south garage at no additional cost to the cooperative. So as soon as we get that date, we will be communicating with members because, again, we will want all of the vehicles out of the south garage for that cleaning. The exterior facade repairs or replacement, I'm not sure if you would call it a project yet. We do have a rough order of magnitude document on that presents different options for how the outside envelope of the building, if you will, the covering of the building. And again, this does not affect the stability of the building. It is just the outside covering, the outside envelope of the building, and what is holding it up from behind. And there is degradation of some of that system behind the brick that we are aware of, and we've been presented different scenarios for how that can be corrected. And the property committee, there has been a presentation of that rough order of magnitude by Encompass Engineering to both the property committee as well as the board of directors. And I believe the chair of finance committee was there as well. And now that that has been completed, it is going back to the property committee, and they are doing their due diligence to consider all of these different options from several different aspects. I have a copy of an email about that. I'm not going to share the email, but from the financial aspect of it, the technical aspect of it, how repairing or replacing the facade of the building would affect the marketing of the building and certainly costs. And so the property committee is really digging into this with all of their members, together with management, working together with the finance committee, keeping the board informed about that. And this is a long-term type of lead up to any work that would be done once there are decisions made on this. So just kind of keeping you informed as things are happening with that. There isn't too much other than that to share about it at this time. Any of those scenarios is an expensive proposition. We don't know exactly what that will be. It is a very broad range of possible costs for that. But I will share a little bit more about that in a little bit. Also, you may hear from the board during the next board report after the board meeting at the end of the month, keeping you informed on this important project. The keyless entry system, we have finally received the fobs that are in the process of being programmed, and it's going to take quite a while to do that. We will also be working with the board, or the board will be working on policy for that and how fobs will be distributed to members and those sorts of things. So it's not imminent that members are going to get their fobs yet to use with the keyless entry system, where you just touch your fob to the electronic pad and the door unlocks and opens for you. That is some weeks out yet. But we do have the fobs, and we've been waiting for those for a couple of months, so we're happy about that. And LaDamian head of security was receiving training on that today. The new board renovation is nearly complete. The furniture, the conference table and the chairs were delivered last week. Sadly, one of the bases of the table was damaged before it got to us. So we're having to return that under warranty and have a new one sent to us. So sadly, we have to wait to use that, at least with the new table, until we get that exchanged. The annual inspection for the 7th floor is coming up the first week of July on Tuesday, July 7. Any questions on any of those last few items? That was lightning out there. Any questions? Okay. I did want to share, I did intend earlier to share, this is, you'll see these posters going up in the cooperative common areas. This is about the parking lot resurfacing that is going to be happening. And I also want to take this opportunity, and I think Jake is going to share a little bit about this as well. But we've talked over the past year really about the cooperative's emergency response plan. Everybody had received a copy of this in their box. And we have I have some additional copies of that here. If anybody wants to grab one of these today on the way out, I'll have them sitting at the back table there. People get these, you may misplace them. I intend to remind members every management meeting about this emergency response plan. On one side, it has all of the instructions what to do in different response scenarios. On the back is a map of the building and the surrounding property about where to evacuate the building and where you'll go once you evacuate the building. And the one thing that I want to continue to, I was going to say hammer into your minds, let's not put it that way, to emphasize kindly that if you hear the alarms, the building alarms go off, what should you do? What is the fire department's protocol if you hear the building alarms going off? No, not stay put. Evacuate. Yes. So, the protocol is, if you are able, and if you are mobile, and it is always your choice, but I just want to make clear that the fire department's protocol, their advice, their guidance is evacuate the building. If you're not able, because you have mobility issues, then you should shelter in place and call 911 so that first responders know which unit you're in and which unit they would need to go to evacuate somebody that is not able to go down the stairs and get out of the building. So what we're trying to avoid going forward is, if you hear the alarms going off, we don't want members to be asking each other or asking us on the management team, what should I do? If you hear the alarms going off, the expectation, if you are able, is to evacuate the building. Don't ask us, just please do that. If you are not able because of mobility challenges, issues, shelter in place, call 911, let the fire department, first responders know where you are at. And again, the phone system to the security desk will be put on do not disturb, which means members will not be able to call the security desk. Now, I'll let Jake talk about that because he's very good at explaining that. But our security team, our management team needs to be able to do our work. And if our telephone system is flooded with calls, we can't do the work that we need to do. Suffice it to say, if you hear the alarms, evacuate the building. Also want to make sure that if you are away, let our security team know so that they don't need to go to any extra measures to try and determine whether you are in your unit and needing help or not.
And Mitch,
Yes,
we're not supposed to use the elevators then either.
that's correct. Go down the stairs. In the event when the alarms are going off, the elevators will automatically come down to first floor or second floor. I believe it's the first floor. They will come down and they will be out of order. So don't get into the elevators. And then I just wanted to share briefly a short letter that I received from a member, and I received it anonymously. And I think it's important to share some of these things. Normally, I don't entertain communications that come to me anonymously, don't have a signature or some kind of identification. But the reason that I'm sharing what this member is sharing with me, it was written to management, is there are things in here that I think it's important for members to hear. And the board is going to redress or address again some of these issues during the next board report. But I just want to read some of it so that you hear it as I'm hearing it and you hear the concerns. The board member, I'm not the board member, the member was asked by a retired friend about moving into 7500 York Cooperative, and this member said, I don't know if it's a man or a woman, said to be truthful. I had to be truthful, so I advised against it. Don't move into 7500 York Cooperative. Well, why? This member said, we fear our financial condition is relatively okay, and we have enough in reserves to cover large costs like new boilers, but it's shaky because it will affect us negatively according to information we receive and according to the large increases in monthly rent, garage spaces that came before today's rise in inflation and will continue to increase. That's a little bit fuzzy about that, but it shares some concerns about the financial condition and the reserves of the cooperative. I just want to share that the general operating reserve, which is for emergencies or if the board would have to buy back a share if somebody their membership was being terminated, $771,000 in the general operating reserve. The replacement reserve, and that is what is used for all of these big replacements, such as boilers, rooftop units, refurbishment, renovation of the common areas, and all kinds of other things, HVAC equipment, $5,183,000. Ground rent reserve, that's an amount that we are required to keep in reserve because we have a lease agreement with York Gardens. And if they were under some kind of financial stress and weren't able to pay their monthly rent to us, which is about $14,000, something like that, we have money in reserve that we would be able to use to cover that temporary loss of income. $298,000, almost $300,000. There is the legacy fund. That is board controlled, $67,000. There is a resident fund that is for smaller things, and the board would approve most things that those funds are taking donations and kept in our bank accounts. But overall, $6,339,000. It's a lot of money that the cooperative has in reserves. And I want to mention that every month, the cooperative, through the monthly fees that members pay, $187,000 goes into reserves every month. That's an amount of $2.2 million, a little more, goes into reserves through your monthly fees on an annual basis. And an additional $3,100, almost $3,200, is being put into the general operating reserve on a monthly basis, about $39,000 annually. The cooperative board, finance committee, the management team takes the finances of the cooperative very seriously. I budget to that, taking it seriously. I consider it probably the most important thing that I do here at the cooperative is tend to the finances in working with the board and working with the finance committee. It is not to say that in the years ahead, as this facade project is considered, the south waterproofing project, and the south waterproofing project is already in the reserve study for more than $4 million, so that is already provided for. But as things like the facade project are being considered, the board, the finance committee, the management team take that very seriously and are looking at options for how, those things are paid for, that members will be informed about through the process of those decisions being made. So I appreciate that a member has concerns or maybe a little bit nervous about the finances of the cooperative, but I would say today, here and now, the finances of the cooperative are stable, they are sound, and the board and the finance committee, along with management, are also working on and considering any things that might need to be done additionally when there are bigger projects like a facade replacement or repairs. This member went on to say, I said we lost our little store and our dining room operates in a limited time frame with minimum menu options because its financial condition is uncertain. The little store, the Stop and Shop, was closed because it was losing $30,000 a year, year after year, and that was coming out of members' pockets. I don't think that the dining room operates in a limited time frame. They offer 3 meals a day, 5 days a week, plus a buffet 1 weekend day a month. And I think there are more than minimum menu options, and I don't think its financial condition is uncertain. The member goes on to say, I said the parking garage is limited, so new residents usually need to park outside for a while, and our south garage will soon be involved in a major repair that might affect its availability for an unknown time. Parking has been limited since the cooperative opened. No one currently living here or working here is responsible for that. Buyers are advised when they purchase a share that they will need to wait for a parking spot to open. And when the time comes, waterproofing repairs done at the south end of the garage will mostly affect above grade here outside and not down below in the garage, and would not have a heavy impact on members' ability to park down there during that time. She goes on, he or she, I'm sorry, many of us fear a very large assessment to repair the outside of the building. I talked a little bit about that. That is uncertain. There's a process that is being gone through by the property committee, working with finance, keeping the board informed. Management is also assisting in that, and the membership will continue to be informed about that. And then this member goes on to say, I said, even though they speak otherwise, management is very firm and not resident friendly. Their main interest is budget rules and operating costs. Yes. Management's main interests include budgeting, rules, and operating costs. We are here to manage the daily operations of the property based on the cooperative's governing documents, our management agreement, policies, and board decisions. It's hard work. And I sure hope that as we are being firm when we need to, that we are also friendly. The member goes on to say, this is not the first person to ask me about moving into 7500 York. I know I am not the only resident who answers this way when they are asked, and that is my concern. I want to make sure that members have information and have correct information, accurate information. Going back to the first thing the member said, that he or she advised against moving into 7500 York. I'm saying that if any member is doing such, is talking to that way to potential members here, people who might be interested in getting on the wait list or are already on the wait list, you're hurting the cooperative's efforts to market the sale of shares, and you're potentially hurting your chance to sell your share in the future. Whenever shares are sold, disclosure is required. Barb Murphy is a licensed real estate agent. Hannah Parker is a licensed real estate agent. I am a licensed real estate agent. We have requirements to hold our license and to abide by things that all agents must comply with, and one of those things is disclosure. And anybody who is interested in buying a share here receives a resale disclosure certificate, which has listed in it things that might impact a buyer's interest in buying a share. So I know that in the current resale share certificate is that we're having a rough order of magnitude done on the facade of the building and the issues with that, and that we're having a rough order of magnitude done on the south garage waterproofing project, and that we've had this very large project ongoing for a couple of years with the waterproofing project at the North Plaza. We are required to disclose those things to buyers, so buyers know the information and they can make decisions for themselves whether they still want to buy a share and accept the responsibility along with everybody else as members in caring for this building and caring for this property. And that's all I have for today. That is a lot. Jake is going to finish up here. I have to run to the eye doctor by 3 o'clock. I have time for one or two questions. I can make it by 3 o'clock. Yes, I was afraid of that, Lila.
Okay. I'm so sorry that you got that letter. We have 400 and some people on the waiting list, and every time they have tours or anything, we have at least 10 or more people interested. So I'm wondering where this is all coming from.
I will answer you. I'm not sure, but I'm not sorry that I received the letter. I think it's important to know the pulse of the membership out there, even if it may be members that are in the minority with these types of concerns. It gives me the opportunity, the board, to have the opportunity to share accurate information. So I don't feel bad about it. I'm sorry that the person didn't disclose who they are, so I could talk to them personally, but I just want to make sure that members have good information.
Well, I think we need to talk it up.
Anybody else? One last question. Yes, Jake, we have one here.
the Membership and Marketing Committee, and one of the main things we hear when people are finished with their tour is they comment about the friendliness of the people in this building. So most of the people that come and tour here are very impressed.
Thank you. And I will let Jake carry on from here. There will be some additional emergency response plans that you can pick up at the back on your way out.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you for all that information. Very important to know. I'm going to try to go really fast so we can maybe finish early. Oh. I do have quite a few things to bring up to you today, so here we go. So maybe we have some van riders in here or watching on York TV. First, I want to apologize for how difficult it's been the past several months with consistent van service. We just have been having some problems with getting the van running at an acceptable level with the AC and other things. I talked to Hogland Repair Service before I came here today, and I just want to let you know that I am waiting for a final proposal for repair. For those of you car aficionados or knowledgeable people with car maintenance, we have a rear main seal leak, which I am told is quite important that is not leaking. So I am waiting to hear back on when that repair will be done. I have emphasized that I would like to have that van back next week so we can stop borrowing our neighbor's van, York Gardens. And I would really like to extend a thank you to them on behalf of our whole community, because they have been very nice to us, I would say the past couple of years, lending their van to us. They don't use it as much as we use ours, but they've been very gracious in letting us use it. So I am working as fast as I can to get the van going again. I'm waiting to hear back. She's supposed to call me tomorrow, the lady that's in charge of preparing the proposal and the estimate of completion of repair, but I haven't heard yet. There is a distribution group that I created for people that ride the van so they can get news very quickly. If you are someone who's not on that distribution, please let me know so I can add you. I will let you know, and don't worry, I'm going to send this to the van rider group. There'll be no service on the 23rd if we don't get our van back this week, because York Gardens needs it. There'll be only afternoon service on the 24th and only morning service on the 25th. That is if we have to continue using York Gardens van. Hopefully we will get our van back as quickly as possible. So for van riders, I will send that out to you in a one-call communication for your distribution group. If there's anybody here that wants to get on that group, please let Holly know at the front desk, and she can add you at any time. Emergency response, Mitch mentioned it a little bit. He already quizzed you, so if the alarms go off, you leave. Or if you can't leave, you call 911 and let them know where you're at. I do want to bring up a little tale because, boy, oh boy, did I get so much flack about emergency response, and so did poor LaDamian. But we have been working very hard to change our emergency procedures to better equip ourselves with emergency response. We have an emergency phone that I mentioned the last manager's meeting. I'm carrying it right now. And we have updated all of our one-call communication. We've also tested that the other day. I think most people got that communication. But I wanted to bring you up a story. So, several weeks ago, we had someone that had smoke in their unit. They were not home. The system alerted us before the whole system went off. A security attendant and myself went to this person's unit. They had left to go to a doctor's appointment, and they had left food cooking. The food started to burn. We were able to get into the unit, vent out all the smoke before the smoke made its way into the common space, and we took care of the whole thing without incident. So I want to thank security for their good response. Thank Michael for making sure all of that notification equipment works, and LaDamian for training his staff on how to vent that smoke. And this has happened actually now several more times before our alert, and post our alert the other month. So I just want to give the membership confidence that our security team knows what to do. We have protocols in place, and we'll follow those so we can make sure our emergency response is good. So I want to thank LaDamian for his extra effort since our incident, because he's been working very hard back there. We're very lucky to have LaDamian, or LD as he's called. We did do the one call test. We did get a few people updated. If you are not receiving one calls, please come down to the office. We want to make sure everybody can get one calls. We're using it for so many different things, so please let me know if it's not working for you so we can see how we can resolve that. Comcast, Xfinity, and York TV. Ugh. I feel like Comcast should pay me a royalty every time I have to talk about them or deal with their service or answer a question. I feel like I should be a millionaire by now. Okay, so we still have issues intermittently happening for different members with different problems that they're having with their service. Please call the bulk line. If that doesn't work for you, you are welcome to come down to the office and I can schedule a service call for you. I've done that many times now. There are certain things I won't be able to help with. If there is something wrong with your account, I can't help you because I can't access it, but I can definitely get someone here to fix the issue that's wrong with your modem router combo, your box, your line. So let me know if you're having major issues so I can try to help you get somebody here. But that is kind of the end of the extent of what I can do. For programming stuff, I don't really have any control of that. I really encourage all members, if you have questions about programming, if you have questions about service, if you have questions about things that you're seeing on your TV as far as, oh, I could get that channel before, now I can't, please come to those Comcast events. There's going to be more of them coming up. Tyler is our representative. He'll come here with swag, like little different keepsakes that he can give you, and that's your opportunity to levy questions and levy feedback at Comcast in a constructive way so they can keep making this service as good as it can for you. We all know that Comcast isn't always the most fun to deal with, but we're trying to give avenues for members to levy their feedback to someone who actually can make change and resolve issues. So please come to that. Also, with York TV, I did say this a few times leading up to the changeover to the new equipment, but I'm just going to mention it again now. York TV is not something, as people upgrade or change equipment that is failing, is going to work coming to your unit because of the changes of equipment downstairs. That's why we have the YouTube channel. That's why we're trying to take the daily broadcast and upload it to YouTube. So if you have the latest and greatest equipment, you won't get York TV. And that is something that the board was made aware of when we re-upped with Comcast. Nobody's really supporting channel insertion. It's just something that's being phased out. We're trying to find avenues to navigate that. YouTube has been our main free one. So please, if you can't get York TV, know that most broadcasts that happen in the CAC are going up there because we've changed our permission form and all the daily broadcasts are being uploaded there. Speaking of York TV and YouTube, I don't know if people have been seeing, we've been updating the slides, Miss Hawley has, to give information about things that are upcoming to give you as advanced notice as possible with filter change, unit inspections, the parking lot being done. So those are on the slides on York TV, but also on YouTube there is a video that's just a slideshow, and if you watch that, it's the same slides that are on York TV. So you can see those slides and kind of know what's going on with things that are upcoming. So please take a look at those if you have the opportunity to do so. We are also having a network reset day. This really isn't super relevant to the membership, except I will explain it to you because it will impact you in a certain way. So Monday the 22nd, we are upgrading all of the internet equipment in the office to upgrade some of the connection stuff because we've been having network issues since my arrival in 2023, and we finally are going to purchase and redo our server rack equipment and all of our network equipment. It's very boring stuff, but the way it impacts you is this. I'm going to send out a one call on Friday and an email indicating that on Monday at 3:15, all the office phones are going to go down, including security, for a little bit, and there'll be no service to the different security equipment. However, you can still pull your pull cord if you have an emergency, so that'll work. You just won't be able to call down for about 45 minutes to an hour while we get everything back up and running. So that's just for us to swap out some equipment. You'll get communication on that so you know what to expect. Any questions about that? So pull cord if you have an emergency, and the phones will be back up. Did you have a question? Yes, I will send communication before it happens and then when it's all complete. Yes. The microphone's coming.
When you said about your TV, do you mean that it is the channel
1971.
1971?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I have a second thought.
Sure.
It's about emergency evacuation.
Okay.
I have been visiting many other seniors facilities, and I saw that they do have loudspeakers in every floor. And for emergency only, maybe we should think about having loudspeakers.
Yeah, that's something we could definitely think about and talk to the board about implementing in the future. I think that's a really good idea. Okay, let's see, what's next? Sorry, I have a lot written down here. Parking lot resurface and restripe. One thing Mitch forgot to say, that is weather permitting. So we could get all this communication out, and it ends up being a day like today, and we can't do it. So the plan is to do it the 8th and the 9th, weather permitting. East is going to be the 8th, west is going to be the 9th. We've got 15 signs we're going to put around the building, or are working on it now. I'm not sure. Melissa, I gave her all the signs. We have a sign at the security desk. We're going to send a one call today when the office closes about this. We're going to send out a paper notice. Our illustrious Hannah has made a hilarious flyer filled with puns and dad jokes. So it'll be very funny for you to read to remind everybody about this. If you have friends, family, caretakers, guest suite users, or other people that come to the site routinely for you, please tell them that the 8th and the 9th parking here is going to be very difficult. I would say the 8th it's going to be pretty much impossible to park here. They're going to have to park off site. If everything goes to plan on the 8th, we'll be able to open the east lot, and then the 9th won't be that big of a deal because it's just that smaller lot, and we'll have the space to accommodate those cars over there. But I really want to hammer home the 8th is going to be really difficult. I don't want to sugarcoat it. So please let anybody know who uses our lot, July 8th, parking here is just not going to be possible because that little lot's going to fill up quick, and then the only option is Edinburgh and then Park Lawn. So just keep that in mind. All right. HVAC filter change and HVAC condensate line blowouts going out right now. So that's where they replace your filter and they clean out the condensate line to avoid leaks. We've already done 9 and 8. We got a lot more floors to go. Please stay tuned to your email in case a schedule change needs to occur. So just keep an eye on that. And then the directory, the front portion with all the committee assignments, board assignments, everything that you need to know for contacting people for different committee things or board things, and then the other phone numbers that are important, that will be coming out at the end of this month. We did put a slide on York TV as well as YouTube inviting people that if something's changed for committee assignments, please let us know. If you don't like your picture in the picture directory, or maybe you don't have one, please come down and get a picture with Holly so we can upload that, because our goal is to upload it to the portal that last week of June and to distribute the paper copy of the front portion of the directory so you can replace that in your 3-ring binder. So that is going to be happening soon. If there's any other changes, please notify Holly so she can keep that up to date. It is a very difficult task to keep track of all 104, 126, 7, 8 of you. So please try to help us out. That is greatly appreciated. Let's see if there's anything else I'm missing. No, I think that's it. I do want to make a comment on the communication Mitch has received. I just want to take an opportunity to apologize if I've ever come across coarse or difficult to work with. I definitely don't try to do that. So we definitely as a team took that letter to heart, and we don't want to be difficult, but just know that there are a lot of things that we have to attend to and take care of. So I'm sorry if I ever came across poorly. That's not my intention. So just please let me know if I ever am, because I do believe feedback is a gift. So I appreciate getting feedback when I can get it. Is there any other questions or anything I can answer? We got two in the back. Rec, could you maybe take it back there? We got Jane and then Mr. Jackson. Okay. Yeah, they want to hear you on the TV. Sorry. Just yell it out, and I'll repeat the question. What was your question?
The inventory, the filter change, you need to be there.
That's a great question. Mr. Jackson just asked, do you need to be there for filter change and condensate line cleaning? You do not need to be there. In fact, that's another thing that we should just real quickly button up. For battery change for smoke detectors, for any of that routine work that we're trying to keep on top of that preventative maintenance, you don't have to be home for that. You can, and it's encouraged, but you don't have to be. So just keep that in mind. But no, don't have to be home for any of those things, and we will leave communication that we were there and what we completed as far as preventative maintenance or any other work. Good question. And then Ms. Ramsey back there had a question.
Thank you, Jake. I really had raised my hand because I thought that was great that you put out that a comment, apology. And, you know, to be honest, I have not had UV anything bad, of course, or anything. But I think that's a really good thing for everybody to be aware of, you know, because I know that I hear comments, and I feel this way myself sometimes, that management in general is, I don't know, not as respectful, you know, that we're all adults, may not act like it, but, you know, are accomplished adults, and I think we deserve some respect. And so do you.
For sure, and I agree with that. I think it's a fine line that I think all of us walk in the office, and it's a hard line to walk because we don't want to infantilize people, obviously, and we want to treat people with respect and, you know, admire them for the things that they've accomplished, and they are here because they are an accomplished person. But it becomes a thing sometimes where I think people's best intentions possibly don't communicate well. And that's something we as a management team need to know. If we're kind of missing the mark in our communication or coming across a way that maybe we're not intending to, please let us know so we can calibrate that and, you know, reassess that. So just let us know. We're open to feedback for sure. Any other questions? Any other things I can answer for you? We only finished 1 minute early, so darn. So thank you so much. You all have a great day.